What's up, guys? This is OmegaPro, and I just watched the movie The Campaign, which stars Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis. That's how you say his name. I think it is, but this movie is about politics. Yeah, great. And I decided to do this movie review. For one, I wanted to actually see the movie. When I saw the previews, I thought it looked pretty good, but I just never got the chance to watch it. It just sort of fell off of my radar. And then I'm sitting here perusing the internet, and then I see, boom, it's out on DVD and stuff, so I decided to watch it. And with the upcoming election and Obama and Romney and stuff, I'm not going to get into that, by the way, you know what I'm saying? But it's fitting, I guess. It's fitting because it's the candidates, politics, America. But let me get into this review. So the way that the campaign is set up is basically how politics is, but sort of blown out of proportion, which is to be expected. If Will Ferrell is in the movie, you can probably put your money on the movie being sort of blown out of proportion and being just sort of over the top, and which the campaign definitely is. I like how it takes how politics are in actuality, in real life, and sort of puts a funny little twist on it. And that's what this movie is aiming to do. However, does it really do that, though? Kinda. I'll say kinda. And the main reason being is that I felt like sometimes it felt a little bit forced, and I don't know, it's just the movie didn't really capture my attention throughout the entirety. I mean, I watched it here in my room, and like 20-30 minutes into the movie, I was just playing Xbox while watching the movie. So it didn't really grab my attention. It's not one of those movies. It's one of those movies that you can have on in the background, or maybe, you know, have on with a bunch of friends while you guys are eating pizza or having sex or some shit. Just have that movie in the background. Maybe it's worth a few yucks, but it's not really a comedy of the year type of thing. I feel like Ted was way funnier. But this movie, I'm not saying it's a bad movie by any means. However, it's not as good as I thought it looked from the previews, which I guess I'm just a sucker for these kind of things, I guess, because a lot of people said that this movie looked bad when they saw the trailers and the previews and stuff, and I was like, really? I think it looks kind of good. But I guess a lot of other people out there know movies a lot more than me, and that's quite obvious, because I didn't think Silent Hill was too bad. I mean, it wasn't good, but apparently everybody liked that, or hated that, my bad. But, you know, I think same goes for this movie. I sort of liked it a bit. It had a charm. I laughed a couple times, yeah, sure. Some parts were funny, but it wasn't like a consistently funny movie. And, you know, you can't really expect any movie to be like that. I mean, some of my favorite comedies, in, say, White Chicks, it's not funny all the way through, but, you know, it's funny a lot of the time. And I feel like the campaign really wasn't that, you know, and I don't think it was trying to be that. I think the main reason of the campaign was just to parody the shit out of how politics are today. And I feel like it did that pretty well. So if that was its agenda, then good job. You did it okay. Definitely over the top, you know, a little more subtle and stuff like that. And I feel like it would have been more realistic, I guess, because punching a baby, come on. And that's not even a spoiler, so don't talk no shit. That was in the fucking trailer. So you can watch the damn trailer, bitch. But yeah, I felt like certain parts, like the punching the baby, and then there's a reoccurrence where he punches something else. I'm not gonna really say, but I thought that little thing was a bit funny. And then there's something that I like about movies, how something happens in the beginning that's sort of subtle. You don't even pay any mind to it. Then it sort of comes back in the end. And I'm gonna say it right now. It's not a spoiler by any means, but in the beginning, the candidate Zach Galifianakis plays, he was at the dinner table with his family. He was like, okay, basically get rid of all your secrets, so that way when the press comes, you know what I'm saying, there's really no secrets to be had, and we know how to keep them hush hush. Well, one of his kids said, oh, I was with the biker guy and he let me touch his wife's tits. And I was like, okay, that just went over my head when I was watching. I was like, who cares? He touched his tits, whatever. But then at the end of the movie, it's sort of funny because you see that biker guy, and he's like, oh, yeah, because Zach Galifianakis, he does something. Not going to really spoil it, but basically it's about tell the truth. And then he's like, yeah, sometimes I let little boss touch my wife's tits. And I thought that was just sort of a cool little nod to the beginning of the film there. And I really like it when movies do stuff like that. And not just movies, but all forms of media. When there's something that barely anybody picks up on, and then it sort of just shows it up at the end. That's something people would probably realize the second time they watch the movie, but since I'm a fucking genius, I realized it the first time. But overall, my thoughts on the campaign, it was okay. It could have been better. It could have been worse. I would have just liked to see it's done better, I guess. I feel like this movie had a lot of potential, and because I think politics are a fucking huge joke, and I'm willing to bet anybody with an IQ thinks politics are a joke. I mean, it's serious in that, you know, that's what's running our country and stuff like that, but come on, look at the candidates and the stupid shit they do. It's just, it's laughable sometimes, and that's what this movie's trying to hit the head on. I'd say it didn't hit the head on it. It probably nipped it in the bud a bit, but if they tried a little harder, didn't go over the top, it could have been a really great movie. So for a rating system, 1 to 10, my rating system is pretty fair. You know, 5 is average, below that, below average, above that, above average. So I think I'll give this movie, I'll say a 5.75. And the main reason is that I really like its charm and what it attempted to do. That was sort of a bit above average, because most comedy movies, they're just that, a comedy movie with no real substance there. But the campaign really tried to hit the nail on the head with the whole politics being stupid and stuff. And I commend them for that. They just didn't execute it greatly all the time, but they did get the message across, and I received that message. And as a stupid person, I find it cool that they were able to make me see the message of the movie. So, did you guys see the campaign? If you did, please let me know what you guys thought of it. I would really like to get a discussion going on this movie. And, yeah, I'd say I would go see it if there's really nothing else. I wouldn't pay $10 to see it in theaters, even though it's not in theaters. I wouldn't buy it. Give it a rent, you know? If it pops up on Netflix, definitely give it a watch. It's something good to have on. It's one of those movies, I can't really compare it to anything right now, but it's one of those movies you just have on in the background while you're playing a game, or, you know, having some alone time. And yeah, again, let me know what you guys thought. This has been OmegaPro with my review of the campaign. If you want to see more movie reviews, leave suggestions down below, preferably movies that aren't coming out or are still in theaters, because money's tight in this economy. But that's it. I'm out. Have a great day, guys.